Some are more on the silver side, some are more on the gold side, and the majority of them are tainted enough to look more of like a rose gold. This is most likely going to be in color for today. But before I get started, I'm going to put on a little bit of makeup. I decided that since this is a colorized video, I'm going to wear a different type of lipstick. But first, let me go ahead and take care of the eyes. So I got my Brow Diva eyebrow powder first. I'm going to apply that. By the way, how have you been? Are you taking good care of yourself? Are you finding time to take breaks, take time to see friends, or keep up with friends? And more importantly, are you finding time to keep up with yourself? I know it can be hard to do sometimes, but I want to let you know that you're not alone. You have me, and we've got this. We're vibing together, we're lifing together. And also, if you've got any hobbies going on, I'd always love to hear about them. I love engaging in hobbies. They're great ways to keep me occupied, especially outside of work. Work can be fulfilling, of course, but what's life without a little bit of variety, you know what I mean? Alright, so I got the brows. I'm just going to put on my liquid eyeliner now. I'm going to wear the old one for today. It's a lazier Sunday. So just going from the corner, going outward. Actually, there's still plenty left. And curl up. Then on the other way, starting from the outside, starting with the outside wing, and just drawing across. Flip over here, and drag across. That should do it. Alright, so got those two. And I'll apply a little bit of mascara. We're going simple for today. It's amazing looking at my makeup journey. I used to wear a lot more makeup in shades of red and sometimes even pink. But I like the neutrals and the browns more. I think it shapes my face better. But an extra dose of violet can go a long way too. Alright, in here, got a little bit of brown. I'm actually not sure. Well, maybe I'll just apply it to the top. Just the top for now. Yeah, that should do it. Okay. I am not going to bite my lips together this time, because if you remember my makeup math video, when I bit my lips together, I realized I didn't really like the brown on my bottom lip, so I'm going to try my best not to get it on my bottom lip. Easier said than done, of course. Alright, now I've got my combs to unravel my hair, and I got my beautiful Alex and Ani bracelets. So I guess I'll start with this one since I already mentioned it. And it looks like each of them have different dates as well. This one was probably manufactured back in 2017. It may look blank, but it used to have a butterfly with some rhinestones surrounding it, but unfortunately it fell off one day, nice generic one to show. But anyway, let's see. How did I first start getting into Alex and Ani bracelets? I think a family friend of ours paid a visit many years ago. I think back when I was a teenager. And when I saw her Alex and Ani bracelets, I thought, oh, those are so pretty. And I was starting to get into jewelry at that time. So, at the time when I was a teenager, I had a bigger thing for earrings, especially feather earrings. That was my go-to as a teenager. I had long, pink feather earrings I frequently wore. And I also had a set of green and brown feather earrings. I think that one was my favorite one of all time. My family wasn't really into the feather earring style, but I personally really liked it, especially if I had my hair pinned back, or if I had my hair in a buzz cut or tapered off on the sides. That's when I especially wore my feather earrings. Anyway, but yeah, that was the time when I started to get into Alex and Ani bracelets, and I started looking online, and when I learned about all the different kinds of charms that are available, I thought, oh wow, I really want to start collecting these. Felt like a different version of the charm bracelet. Technically, I feel like they are charm bracelets, only one charm per bracelet in general. But anyway, let me show you this next one. This one's one of my favorites, actually. As you can see there, it's a garnet, or at least it resembles a garnet, and that is my birthstone. I'm a fellow Aquarius, and I was born in January, so that's the birthstone for January. It's similar to a ruby, but it's a deeper shade of purple, and I really love wearing this one. Anything with a shade of red I think is very sophisticated and just lovely, which is ironic because I don't like wearing red on my lips, but I do like wearing red on just about anywhere else. So there's that one. Let me go ahead and put it on my wrist as I continue to do my hair. That brings me to the following question, actually. If you know your birthstone, feel free to apply that into the comments down below. I'd like to see if there are any garnet twins, fellow garnet twins, who I may know about. That could be kind of exciting. I don't remember every single birthstone for all the months, but I think April is for one of the months, right? I may be wrong, though. I'm not really sure. That's one of the things I would like to learn more, though. Birthstones for each of the months. I think it's quite fascinating. I especially need to know the one for the ruby. I feel if I know the one for the garnet, I should know the one for the ruby, you know what I mean? It's kind of funny filming against a black background. You can see my hair appearing and disappearing. Anyway, let me go ahead and show you the next one. So, this next one here, it used to be gold, but now it's more tapered and looks more like a rose gold. But I was shopping at a bookstore with one of my best friends, actually, and that's where I found this one. And it's a cute little sense of humor too, because one day I saw them starting to sprout it in the backyard, and I said, oh my gosh, wow, I never seen so many mushrooms in the backyard before. And he said, yeah, they don't ask any questions. I don't know how they got here either. Yeah, it's got a bit of a sense of humor, that's for sure. I guess when I think about mushrooms, the next thing I think about is mushroom risotto. That's a recipe I'm thinking about enhancing some more. I recently started using an Instant Pot because I'm getting more intrigued about different cooking techniques, and when I learned about how efficient it is, I started looking up a bunch of recipes. So far, I made one meal out of it. I made it was a chicken and vegetable soup, and it turned out pretty good. I was very impressed with how the pot worked. You just dump whatever you need to dump in, and you add your seasonings, you add your spices. You gotta make sure you have enough liquid though, enough water or the broth, because if you don't have enough liquid with the ingredients you dump in, it's going to take much longer for it to pressurize and warm up. It needs an adequate amount of water. So that's one thing to look out for. Another thing, and actually another big thing to look for if you're using an Instant Pot for the first time, you gotta make sure you pay attention to the setting and where the dial is faced. There's one setting called a sealing, and you need to have it there for it to pressurize properly. And then once the pressurizing is done, then you slowly turn the dial to venting to release the pressure, and make sure you do that before you open the lid. Otherwise, with all that pressure, that could cause a potential injury. So, but there's so many videos on YouTube that show how to use the Instant Pot properly that it shouldn't be a problem at all. But yeah, anyway, I want to start learning how to make more recipes, and the mushroom risotto is the first one on my list. For the broth, I'm thinking about using water with this nutritional yeast called Nutrilicious. I've used it before in some other dishes, and it's kind of like a nutty and cheesy taste, and I personally like it, and I think that'll kind of make the risotto have a bit of a nutty and cheesy taste to it too. I think it'll go very well. At least I hope it'll go very well. I haven't tried it yet, but I think it should be fine. I think I could also use it to potentially make mac and cheese, but I'll probably add some real cheese to it too, just in case, you know. But yeah, that's my second one. Not the second Alex and Ani bracelet I've owned, but the second one I just listed. I think I got that mushroom bracelet one either last year or the year before. The third one I'd like to show is a silver one. It has a cursive C for my name, obviously. And I like the engraving. I think it's a very classic and timeless look, and it frankly reminds me of school when we used to learn about cursive writing. I know for some students it was a bit of a pain to learn cursive, but I personally grew to enjoy it. I didn't like it at first either, but the more times I practiced, the more I grew to appreciate was writing and reading, but it looked more visually appealing compared to my print handwriting, at least at the time. Unless I needed to write quickly. I know the purpose of cursive writing is to write things faster without having to lift the pen or the pencil off the page, but I still think I write faster in print or in script, because whenever I'm writing in cursive, I like to take my time, and if I write in cursive too quickly, I feel like it's all over the place. It looks like a loose needle and thread, or some loose yarn on the floor, or something like that. But that's just my perspective. In terms of cursive writing, I've learned, at least in some schools, that it's not mandatory, as at least not as much as it used to be. And I did hear from some people that it would be better for schools to teach sign language instead of cursive. I personally think both of them are of great value. I think cursive helps us with our handwriting, and it can help with memory retention, but sign language can do that too, and you're learning a language at the same time, which is great. Speaking of sign language, I remember when I was in 5th grade, we had 3 teachers, and our 3rd teacher was a sign language teacher, and I loved all the different outfits she used to wear. They're always so bright and vibrant and inviting, and she was so kind to everybody, and we got to learn a couple of songs in sign language from her, and we got to learn how to tell the time and say what today is. So like, today is, and then the day of the week. That's the extent of sign language I remember. It's been a very long time since 5th grade for me. But yeah, those are some of my perspectives around writing. I think writing can be quite a powerful tool too, because the more senses you engage in when you're studying, for example, then the higher your ability to retain that information. So, for example, if you have a textbook and you are just reading it to yourself, that can be good. But if you are reading it out loud, so now you have the visuals and you have the auditory sensation as well, then you're more likely to gain and retain that information. And if you're reading it out loud and also writing some key points and notes, hey, more power to you. That's going to help with retention as well. There are so many different ways to study and different ways that the power of writing can help facilitate our ability to learn new information. Now, as for how the progression of schools have gone on, I know that there's been an increase in the use of tablets and computers to take notes and to have learning materials. I do appreciate the convenience of the tablets, and I understand the appeal. However, I think it's still very important to learn how to write. It's a perspective. Anyway, back to my Alex and Ani bracelets. I'll show you this next one. This one is, it's either a crow or a raven, but I got it in the same area that I got the mushroom one. You can see that there. I know it's wobbling. It's already trying to fly, but that's kind of what it looks like, and it has a little trace of pink next to it. You can see its head here as well. Faintly, at least. But I got this one, this tainted gold one, because of my love of Edgar Allan Poe and his writings. When I was younger, I used to learn about his poetry and his stories, especially his most famous one, The Raven. But I was also fascinated with one of the stories he wrote called The Telltale Heart. I think those are the top two I can remember, and it was just really amazing learning about his life. And it's kind of tragic that he didn't get the recognition he deserved until after his death. Though I think the only exception, I think he gained some recognition in his lifetime when he published The Raven. I think. I don't know for a fact, but that's what I at least believe. That was a very famous piece. I need to do some more research on that because it's quite interesting to me. But also, this bracelet reminds me of one time in school we were reading an article about crows and how intelligent they actually are. The scenario of this one crow is that there was a small cup of water, but the level of the water was so low that the crow couldn't bend down to drink it. So after he did some thinking, he started gathering some small pebbles, right? And he dropped them in one by one into the cup of water, and because of the change in volume taken up by the pebbles, the level of the water in the cup began to rise, and I was just blown away that the crow was able to figure that out and get to the water and use that to his advantage. At least I think it was a crow. It might have been a raven, some kind of blackbird. Blackbirds are quite amazing. All birds are, really. Other memories of birds. So, actually, outside where I live, there is this one ledge, and it has a flappable door, and birds are always coming in and out of that area, and it's so amazing to me to see them just residing and building their nest. I would see them holding twigs in their beaks and building the nest in there. And it's amazing seeing how they transform over time across the year. So they look like the regular cells during the warmer season, but then when it gets colder, you can see them starting to puff up, and you can see that they've been eating more for their survival, and they just turn into a bunch of roly-polies with wings. I think it's so cute. One moment I was walking down a nature trail and I saw a bunch of roly-polies with wings. My friend and I. And I think on that same day we saw a blue jay and later a cardinal. That was really amazing, and seeing that spark of vivid color from them against the backdrop of the snow, it was absolutely gorgeous. It kind of reminded me of those childhood storybooks. like the book The Snowy Day, that small child dressed in red, and you could see he was tracking his footprints and going across the snow and just exploring everything. Good times. Okay, got, let's see, how many bracelets do we have left? It looks like we got 2 more. So let me show you this next one. So this one is a little butterfly, and I personally bought this one for myself. It was a rose gold type of bracelet, but now it looks more silver. But what I find funny about it is that when I purchased this, I didn't take a good look at the label. I just saw the butterfly and got it for myself. But if you take a look at the back, it says, "My granddaughter, my love." And I thought, oh well, it's fine. But it is a nice reminder of my relatives, my grandparents. I had one extra grandmotherly figure who I was not related to at all, but I ended up being the most close and tied to her. I loved visiting her place, and I loved the strawberry candies she had and the stuffed animals. I used to hold them near and dear to my heart. And she had such a great sense of fashion, so she might have played a role in my temporary aspiration to be a fashion designer, or at least to get more excited about dressing up. She was very, very sweet and always had an adorable smile on her face. I miss her dearly. Also, speaking of butterflies, we have a nearby museum that includes a butterfly garden, and I love to visit that area a lot. Ever since I was a little girl, I always enjoyed it. And I think around that time, that's when I also helped to raise a caterpillar into a butterfly. The story behind that was that my parents and I were visiting a cornfield, and I was getting very severe allergies from it. It was terrible. I was never much of a country person, at least in the cornfields. But I found this monarch caterpillar, and I brought it home with me, fed it, kept it in a jar, and it was just so incredible seeing it change over time and become a green chrysalis, and then finally turn into a monarch butterfly. I named the caterpillar and later butterfly BB. And I got to release BB in the late summer, I think. Either midsummer or late summer. So I think BB made it down to the southern hemisphere in time. That was one of my favorite memories from my childhood. In case you can't tell, hair's getting a lot more poofy. The final Alex and Ani bracelet I'd like to show you is of I think it's a sunflower. This one was manufactured in 2019, so a little more recent. But I like that it has that bronze / rose gold tone on the outside, and it has a little bit of silver on the inside. This is probably one of my favorite ones, and it has this little symbol for energy in the middle here. It's quite beautiful. I think whenever I need some kind of energy boost or some kind a smile on my face and it makes the day much brighter. That kind of gets me thinking. I kind of want to see if they have an Alex and Ani bracelet with a bumblebee on there. I would totally wear that. I've always been fascinated with bees, and I greatly appreciate all that they do, not just to help the flowers, but to make delicious honey. And just seeing how they work together. Yeah. Well, anyway, I'll spend the next couple of minutes just unraveling and combing through my hair. But it's, those are about the majority of my bracelets. There was one I couldn't find, but it had an elephant on there. Elephants were my favorite animal when I was little, and I'm still fascinated with them, but back then I was very, very interested in them. I used to watch several documentaries, and it was really incredible to me to see how they all work together as a family, and I think each group was led by the largest matriarch or something like that. At least that's what I can remember. Yeah, gotta stop by the zoo at some point. It's been a while. It'd be kind of cool to see them again. But yeah, there's so many different kinds of Alex and Ani bracelets out there, and I really like how they can cater to your personality. It can be a nice conversation starter, and they come in different kinds of tones too. I like that some are in silver, some are in gold, some are in a rose gold, some are more bronze, and some have multiple tones, like the sunflower one I just showed. I think it's quite lovely. While doing this unraveling, it kind of reminds me of John Butler and his talk about being conscious and paying attention to every little thing we're doing. And he talks a lot about meditation and observing nature and just not taking anything for granted, finding the beauty in every small thing. It kind of reminds me of the ABC acronym about having a sense of awareness for A, bringing a sense of balance for B, and then having healthy connections for C. That's what it reminds me of. His videos used to give me ASMR many times, especially the first time I saw his video. I think the video was called Discovering Stillness, I want to say. But if you look up John Butler on YouTube, you can start to see why I found his videos quite relaxing. They were relaxing enough that I could just take myself away from any other worries or anxieties, but it still kept me awake because I was genuinely interested in what he had to say. I was like, tell me more, John, tell me more. I think he wrote 1 or 2 books recently too.